So hello YouTube. So we're going to be doing some Industrial Craft 2. So up and up here is just the basic EU generation power. You got your generator, your geothermal generator, semi-fluid generator, Stirling generator, kinetic generator, radioisotope thermoelectric generator, and your solar panel. Yeah, all EU. So I'm actually gonna, just to make sure that I always actually have some, so glass fiber cable, and I'm going to grab us an MFSU. So I should grab an empty one. You'll see these later on in a later video. So just with this, you just place it down. So just right there. Now, first up we got solar panels. They're the easiest. They're one of the easiest to use. Just boom, generates 1 EU per tick when there's sunlight out. When it's stormy or anything like that, produces less. And yeah, just some basic power generation. You could probably run an electric furnace off that or something. Next up, so yeah. Next up, the kinetic generator. Now this one you actually need a kinetic source. Just put it there and what the? Oh, haha, I'm funny. Yeah, so this side is the side that gets placed towards you is the side where you put whatever kinetic output to. It has to match the kinetic output. That's where the power actually. I think. Let me check something. I think the power actually comes out of any side. Let me check something. I'm just gonna use the crank generator because it's just the easiest thing. Yeah, actually, so it comes out any side, but so yeah, that side, the side with this little, that little shaft thing is where you put in your power. The kinetic generator. So yeah, just something that provides kinetic units of power to use that to transmit power to this. Boom, do. Oh, actually, I should probably keep that down. Get rid of that. Yes, I have that on. Next up, the generator. You probably actually have this first. And it works a lot like a furnace, except instead of smelting stuff, you're turning it into fuel. So I'm just gonna coal. I'll just grab a piece of coal here. Stick it in the furnace. Burns down. As it burns down, it provides power. So this is actually, you would have this, and more likely a battery box, and then electric furnace, and that is probably the simplest setup that you would have, and that's a starter setup. Yeah, so finished. 4,000 EU, not bad. And the Stirling generator. So this requires some sort of heat output. So anything that provides heat, you shove into there. You shove whatever amount of heat in. And however many heat units you put in, that's EU out. So it says it can output 50 EU. It also that would take 50 heat units to produce. So toss that now. Semi-fluid generator. Let me remember. Crap. I can't remember exactly how this works. Oh, so you put fuels like, say, biogas. So I'm gonna get some biogas here. Biogas. Yes, biogas cell. I'll just make some stacks of these. So boom, provides. Just put it in there. It makes power. You can hear it makes some noise. Options. Music sound. Music off. I'm surprised new music has actually been playing this entire time. Well, if it has, I didn't notice. So, ha. So yeah, just it does power, burns through it decently quickly, but and then just whatever power gets produced goes here. Break that. Don't need it anymore. Geothermal generator. I'm gonna leave this for last because this is one of the coolest. It's actually my favorite, or second favorite really, because my favorite is from an add-on mod. But of Vanilla IC2, this is my favorite. I'll show you in a sec. After the geothermal generator. This, you take lava. So actually, you know what? I'm gonna take lava. So a lava cell, you just stick that in there. Yeah, it uses a lot faster. But let's see. But it produces 20 EU per tick. Not bad, not bad. It's pretty good. So if you have like some way of just continuously getting lava, you can just pump it right into this thing. And tin, because these cells aren't that cheap. So, plunk. Then the radioisotopic thermoelectric generators. So we actually have to get some RTG. Yes. So we have to get some RTG pellets. Oh yeah. So you get radiation poisoning from this. I'm okay, but you have to wear the hazmat suit for that. We'll eventually get to that. But just slap them down. And it will produce 2 to 64 EU. Just forget what it says. So, 1 pellet is 2, 2 pellets is 4, 3 pellets is 8, so on to 64. So it's 2 to the power of number of pellets. So 2 to the power of 6, 64. It's beautiful. And it's wonderful, produces a lot of power, and it infinitely produces. These never run out. Better is, a lot of ways, actually better than a nuclear reactor, because you never have to be refilling this stupid thing. And so, unless you could completely automate a miner that every time it finds a uranium ore, it will send that into a thing that's taking tin and iron or whatever, just making uranium rods, and then automatically putting them into the thing when they get depleted, and automatically pulling depleted out, which would actually be quite easy with Applied Energy 6.2. Effect. Yeah, sorry. I hate this. Let's go ahead. Click. Oh, I love being able to do that. So, yeah. Boom, break it, and break. So, yeah. Now, on to things that do heat generation. So, these create heat units. Electric heat, solid heat, fluid heat, radioisotopic heat. Let's see if there's other heat. liquid heat exchanger. Oh yeah, that's something. Electric radioisotopic fluid. Solid. Alright, yeah, so that's all the heat generators. So you liquid heat exchanger. This takes yeah. So this is actually for nuclear reactors, liquid cooled nuclear reactors. You take the hot coolant into one of these, and it puts out heat. And you could use like a Stirling generator, which generates heat. I think actually it might generate. Well, you got the Stirling generator. You also have a Stirling kinetic generator. Just have that inputting heat into it, and then having a bunch of these. I'm not gonna get into those. So I'll leave this for last. Actually, well, it's actually basically the same thing. Just put the RTG pellets in, and instead of EU it puts out heat units, and it's the same ratio, 64 heat units max. I don't believe what this says because it gives out 64. Now, fluid heat generator. So this is just like the I think this is a semi-fluid heat generator. Might actually require lava. I don't know. So I'm gonna get a lava cell. No, not universal. Just lava cell. Get 2 lava cells. And biogas. I'm gonna get a couple of those little suckers. So I'm gonna put biogas in. Okay, so yeah. And because there's nothing to absorb the heat, now actually put a fermenter down. Look at those in a sec, because or actually just a Stirling generator. Okay, yeah. Boom. So this is gonna take the biogas, get it into the Stirling generator, and actually to make sure that we don't overflow its internal storage. That I'll place that. Yeah, it's got a 40 million EU buffer, so a lot. So okay, yeah, I'll place another one down. This time I'm gonna fill it up with lava. Okay, so it doesn't take lava. Yeah. So Stirling generator. Yeah, I saw that. I'm gonna keep that actually. So solid heat generator works just like the normal generator. Put in stuff to be burnt, and it puts out heat. Really cool. Liquid electric heat generator. This is something that's really cool. I actually use this in stuff that I've built, and later on in the series you will actually see some machines that I'm gonna build that I will do with this. Like, you put in ore and you get ingots out, those sort of things. And I'm gonna use Applied Logistics 2 in a lot of this because I've used it and I've pretty much fell in love with it. It's one of the best mods ever. So this, you need heat coils. I'll search up coil. So yeah, I'm lazy. Yeah, because I'm lazy. Coil. Oh wait. Ooh. Admin. So industrial, I'm gonna need a heat coil next. Coil. So I'm gonna add 10 of these, because that's how many you need. So, boom, it can produce 100 EU. 100 heat units. Let's see. So you can do, so you need at least one to produce 10 heat units, and it will consume 10 EU per tick to produce those 10 heat units. And when it's doing that, it'll do that. I'm gonna find a Laputron crystal. Lapo, slap, and bang, bang. And so this is actually currently generating 100 EU per tick, and it's using power for that. Well, 100 heat units. And so, yeah, that's all the heat generation. Now, onto kinetic generators. We saw a couple of these earlier. So, manual kinetic generator, saw it earlier, just blah blah blah. And, actually, where? How does... Oh, wow. Hold on, actually. I'm just going to wonder... Could I actually output more power? Sorry, I'm kind of going off a tangent here, but this is something that might actually be beneficial. So, yeah, we'll get to those in a sec. Watermelon, no. Connect generator. So I'm gonna put a single kinetic generator down on each of these faces. So just like so. I'm gonna put an MFSU over here. I'm actually gonna build a similar setup right over here with another kinetic generator, because this actually, because I didn't see any specific outputs on this, so I don't know. I don't know if like it just outputs to whatever, or you can actually get a lot more kinetic units out of this. So I'm actually gonna put 2 MFSUs down. This one I can just go directly on it. Rid of that. Rid of that. Rid of that. Don't need that. So yeah, this will actually be something useful for everybody. So doom 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 do 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 do. This looks butt ugly, but whatever. It's all in the name of science. So 0 in there, 1 click, 100, 1 click, 200. I'm just clicking really fast right now. 1900. 1 click, 100. 1 click, 100. Yeah. Click really fast right now. And, okay, that's about as much. Okay, so it actually does produce more power. I was curious if it actually would, but no, it doesn't. Sadly. So yeah, it just produces 100 kinetic units each time you click, up to a certain number of kinetic units per tick. Apparently, Steve can only do so much. So Stirling kinetic generator. Let's place that down, and then at all on 5 sides, you can put heat units in, and you get a kinetic out. I don't know why you would need to make kinetic energy like that. Maybe just using like a bunch of these heat generators just to make a lot of power out of a single unit. That'd be 64 times 5, 320. So you could do 320 total. How much can the Stirling generator? How much can? So yeah, you could get 320 EU out of that to kinetic wind generator. I'll actually build up for this one. Bang. So, right here, this is where the, yeah. So this side is where you put whatever. So, say you want to have, well, you want power. So, get not approved. Oh, I hate having multiple mods on here. Hey. Okay, wind. So I've got electrokinetic generator. Boom. Just so you gotta put motors in. Makes a lot of sense. At least one motor. Let's see, 10. So each motor would do 100 kinetic units with 100 with with 50 EU. That's odd. I actually didn't notice that. I'll actually see if that's a way that you can make some power. Well, it definitely requires some power input first. Kinetic steam generator? No. Nope. Okay, we're dealing with that. Sorry, I'm trying to make some room so I can fit the other wind blades in. Okay, so kinetic gearbox rotor, wood, iron, steel, and carbon. So, get back to me. So let's go up here. So, when do we? Okay, there we go. So 114 KU, and so you can see it's spinning, and you can get some power out of it. Now this only lasts for like 3 hours in real life. Okay, yeah. So where that little rotor is where the windmill is. This is the kinetic power out. So let's just take that out. Put the iron in. So you can see it's making 200 for it. And it's just going, it's chugging along. This, I think, it left just a whole day? Or so, I don't know. So, yeah, this is, produces more, requires more wind to move, but it can also do more wind. So, yeah, 10 to 60 MCW, 14 to 75, 17 to 90. This thing can do 20 to 110. Yes, 110. And as you can see, 421 kinetic units. So this is the best. And it's huge. And I'm actually going to go up high. Because up high is actually where there's a lot of power. Yep. I hate recording on this computer. Yeah, it's a little Celeron processor. Relatively new, because it's on the 1151 socket, but it's... Yeah, okay, I think we're good up here. I think we can produce a lot more power. So, here, let's put that in. Yeah, a lot. That's a bit more power. And as you can see, it's chugging along pretty nice. I wonder if it's too much for the wind. Oh my goodness, that thing's just going crazy. 135, 120. Okay, so the wind's dropping down actually. But yeah, that's just going crazy. This one, also a little fast. so do do do. Click speed for the lose. Yeah, I don't have fast click speed. My click speed sucks. So yeah, 1 kinetic unit for a single energy unit. Alright, so that's taken down. Look at that. Kinetic steam generator. So you can also use this with the. So you just put a steam turbine in there, and steam goes through. Use this to create kinetic energy. There's all sorts of ways that you can do this, but yeah, you just use the steam to create kinetic energy. Kinetic water generator. Yeah, you just put this around water, and it'll make energy out of it. It's pretty slow, as you saw. Well, it's what 1 to X, but it's so flipping little. It's a very small amount. So now on to furnaces. You have the iron furnace, electric furnace, and induction furnace. So the iron furnace is just like your normal furnace. You put fuel in it, burns it, but it's 25% more efficient and 20% faster. So for you can do it'll do 25% more stuff per stack of coal, and it'll do it in 4/5 of the time. So yeah, and then you have the electric furnace, which is faster still than the iron furnace, just as efficient in terms of power stuff, but because you have like a buffer and a generator and all that, you actually technically would be more efficient. Because with this, you're burning and you don't get the coal amount that you have and whatever your smelting amount lined up exactly. So I would say that having this is your most efficient way. Now, if you got a lot more power, the induction furnace. So it just heats up and smelt 2 things at a time. And when you first start it up, it takes a while to heat up. I think my voice is crap on this. So you just heat it up and it goes. If you apply a redstone signal with anything like a lever on the side or something, it will consistently maintain its heat with 1 EU per tick. So hence the 1 EU or 128 EU. And while it's smelting, it's doing 128 EU per tick. But when it's just sitting there staying warm, it's doing 1 EU per tick. So if you got a lot of power, you just set like 1 or 2 of these down with the hoppers to automate it through and just have consistent power. And so yeah, those are the furnaces. Okay, so machine. What's over here? So machines. Just a lot. A lot of this I actually do not know how to use. Here, let me go through. So yes. Okay, right. So, oh, why did I put that in there? Fermenter. This is one of the things that uses heat. I don't remember what the max heat put in is for this. On the wiki it says 60, but on this version, I've done of my Industrial Craft 2, I've done the comparisons between 60 and 100, and 100 is faster. I wish I could stick like 500, 600 through, because then I could just chug through biomass. Fluid regulator, don't know how to use. Wait, what I get? Oh yeah. Condenser, not really. Item buffer, not really. Not really. So this, here, I'll actually show you, and then put it back. So this, the blue is where fluid goes in, and green is where it comes out. It has an internal 1000 millibucket buffer. I don't remember exactly what the order is that it goes in, but it has a specific order. I'll put that back. Steam. Turning crop harvester. Don't know how to use that thing. Don't know how to use that. Don't know. Don't know. Alright. So, the macerator. Now, this is used to... This is actually the first part of doing... with your ore processing. This is where you double your ore output. Where you put one of whatever ore in, and you get two of some ore out. Okay, so I've got a charging Lapotron crystal. Will it accept it? No, it won't. So I'll have to. At this point, I got MFSU. I can get it. FSU that has a load of power in it. I don't even need that. There we go. So, yeah, and we can push some things up over here. Get rid of that thing now. Oh, my inventory's a mess. So the macerator, like so, we'll put... I'll put a copper ore through. Yeah, so it has a nice little noise. Do, 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 so you can put overclocker upgrades in, and all that sort of stuff on most machines. And for this one copper ore, you'll get 2 crushed copper ore. But there's a lot of other things you can do, so... like in the creation of biogas, which is made from biomass, which is made from chaff, which is made from tons of stuff that any sort of bio stuff you put through the macerator, and you get biochaff out of it. This, I think, is 8 of any sapling into one chaff. Let's see. Yeah, biochaff. This is so slow. So yeah, I can actually show you. So this thing, so oh, no. There we go. So, like 4 of these, yeah, it speeds it up a little. I'm gonna get another 4 down, so you can see that power is buttload. So, boom, 8 decreases process time to 5.76% of its original speed. Power is up by a lot. Now, if you were gonna use this plus a fluid solid canning machine and 4 fermenters with heat going to them, you wouldn't need any overclocker upgrades. That's how slow the fermenters are in the canning machine and this thing is compared to those. So I'll keep that 64 there. Boom. Recycler. This is fun. So put stuff through. I'm gonna grab some cobble. I'm gonna grab 64 cobble. Put it in. So stuff. So on average, oh yeah. So we're lucky. So this will produce. Should produce about 8 scrap. I wouldn't be surprised to produce 7 or 9. Maybe a little with 6 or 10, but if it was doing 5 or 11, I'd be very surprised. Here, so let's add that in there. So yeah, it's a pretty quick machine. Scrap you can use in fertilizer, so produce 6 scrap. But you can use the scrap in fertilizer, or the what's it called? Mass fabricator, which creates UU matter straight from energy, which is used to make things from energy. I only know the mass fabricator part. You put power in, UU matter comes out, which is universal usage matter, I believe. I don't remember. What's this? Rage plays games in his immersive, in his surviving with series, goes more in depth, and I would actually suggest watching it. It's a really good way to understand this mod. So the pump, I'm not entirely sure. I know you can put it over water and get water through. I think you can do the same with lava. And so not entirely. So yeah, just put power through. Fluid solid canning machine. This is another part that we would use in the fermenting and getting biogas. So canning, you put a tin can here, food somewhere here, and over here you get filled cans. And it has to be some sort of vanilla food. It can't be from any mod. I have attempted and it doesn't work. So yeah, it has to be from a mod. Oh, and also you use this to take fuel rods, uranium or whatever to fill in it to get the fuel rod out of it. So yeah. We also have draining cells into tanks and filling cells from tanks and fluid enriches. So this is the mode that you would use. You would have the water here. You could actually have the water in cans. In the cans here, have water here, biochaff here, and you would get the what's it called? Shoot. You get biomass. And if you've got empty cans over here, empty cells, it puts them into biomass cells. If you got water cells over here, it uses that plus the biochaff to make this. It might actually put it up here. I don't know. I haven't tried that yet, and it appears, with redstone or other things. I wish I could figure out recipes with this. But yeah, boom. The extractor. Let's get these down. So extractor. This is used to get a lot more rubber from your trees. So using sticky resin, you can get a lot more rubber, and you can, I think, put rubber wood through and get that as well. There's a way to speed it up by a lot. The turning table, I'm not good with this. I don't even know how to use that really. Rage plays games goes through it a lot. Steam generator. This what is it? This actually might be using heat. Yeah, so it takes heat units. So like say with the liquid cooled reactor, the reactor is producing a lot of heat inside of it. You put coolant through it and you get hot coolant out. You put that through the liquid heat exchanger, which would then be producing heat. That heat you would then put in the steam generator, which is using water, and the steam generator is getting its water from the condenser. So the water goes into the steam generator, which then goes to the turbine. If it's superheated water or superheated steam, it will go through like 2 or 3 turbines or whatever. I don't know. It's just heat up the water into steam. Steam goes through turbine, and then you push that through to the, well, it might be superseding steam, I don't know, but you push that to the condenser, which then puts it back into water, and then the cycle starts over. Compressor. Not entirely sure the uses for this, but you just, put it in, get stuff out. Like, Rage Plays Games goes through a lot of this. Metal Former, this is actually, so, rolling, this is anything that you would do that uses the hammer, like, say, making plates out of ingots or stuff like that. Well, this will do the taking place. Cutting, same sort of thing. Extruding, this will take an ingot and turn it straight into wires. The extractor, this, like I said earlier, this will take sticky resin and turn it into rubber, just boom. Ore washing plant. This is another stage. This is the stage right after the macerator, where your crushed ore goes in here and you get some dust stuff out. I think you have to put it through the centrifuge with that. So after this, it has to go through the centrifuge, the thermal centrifuge, which I'll show you in a sec. But yeah, you get water into here, and sky power. You put the crushed ore here, and you get stuff out of this. And this actually can increase your metal output actually, because, and there's more on the wiki about this, and Rage Plays Game so does this I think does this a little as well. He does a lot of good stuff with these, with the surviving with. He got that from somewhere else, but I love it. So yeah, if Rage Plays Games, if you're watching this, I love it. It's taught me a lot about these mods. Blast. Okay, so yeah, and you get other stuff. So you get, the one crushed ore. You get like one of whatever, a little bit of stone, and then this tiny little bit of X item. Like say gold. I think some tin might come out, or nickel. I don't remember. It's just some other metal. Like when you get iron through, I think you get some tin as well. When you send gold through, I don't know. Like, I'm not entirely sure exactly what. So the blast furnace. This is used to make steel. You use air, and so 6 air cells required per run. That's whatever item you're putting in. That's what comes out. The heat, it heats up and it starts doing stuff. I think you apply a redstone signal and maintain its heat. The fermenter. So this is the last process of making the biogas. So biomass comes in here. You can either have it piped in, or in either liquid form, either straight liquid or in cells. And the biogas comes over here. It can hold 10 buckets of biogas. I think it can hold like 8 or 20. It can hold 20 buckets of biogas. So biomass, biogas. I think it can hold 20 buckets of it. But for like 10 millibuckets of biomass, it makes 200 millibuckets of biogas. Rage Plays Games actually using this, and how little power this, and just needs some heat and all that. He was able to do a lot with this. He made a lot more, and so yeah, it was pretty interesting. And yeah, so it's pretty cool. You can make pretty much a renewable source of energy. You could use the radioisotopic heat generators, and then a thermoelectric generator for the macerator, and fluid solid canning machine, and then excess power being piped into your system. And all fluid you'd then send through the semi-fluid generators and generate power from that. And I'll get to that. Block cutting machine, solid, bottling, thermal centrifuge, miner, I'll get to those. So solar distiller. This you want to actually use because it takes water into distilled water and prevents calcification on, I think it was condenser, steam turbine, or stuff like that. It prevents calcification on some machines that use water, and you want this because you can then have a much, you pretty much run headless, or it would pretty much automate itself, because you no longer have to deal with calcification. You just put some water in, it gets some distilled water out. Keep in mind it's slow, so you might want to have multiples of these. They seem pretty easy to make. Yeah, they don't seem that hard to make. Thermal centrifuge. This, you can apply a redstone signal to maintain the heat. Get the one item in, you get multiple out. And this also increases your output a bit of ores. You could also use this with a fuel rod and get plutonium. So if you had a depleted uranium rod, you get some uranium back, a little bit of plutonium, and a tiny bit of iron. So it's the kind of other stuff. So that the bottling plant, not entirely sure if this. Yeah, I'm not very knowledgeable on this. Yeah, so I'll put this back here. I'm gonna come back to this when I know a lot more about it. Solid canning machine, just don't. Item plus item, boom. I don't know much on the recipes, so. Block cutting machine, this is fun. So I have to have a blade. There's an iron, steel, and diamond. Diamond is the best. You put a block here, whatever block of metal it is, you'll get 9 metal plates of that metal with whatever block cutting. And the blade, as far as I know, does not have any durability. So yeah. Rid of. So miner, I'll get to the advanced miner in a sec. So you need to use the miner if you want to get a lot of ore. So a drill can be used to speed up the process a bit. Mining pipes, you have to have mining pipes, and a scanner if you want it to go a little bigger. Now, it starts mining directly right underneath right here. So, well, at least the advanced miner does. This one might go down a bit, but this you might want to set in the ground a bit, and it just mines ores and stuff. You put a drill here, pipes here, and scanner. You can put an iridium drill if you really are just loaded, and an OV scanner, I think is what it is. Might be an OD, whichever one holds the 1 million EU. And this thing can do quite a lot. And you only need a few EU per tick to run it. Oh, and if it runs into any fluids, if you got, like, say, a fluid distributor on it, you could do and Rage Plays did this, you could do a solar distiller on one side, just kind of away. I'll actually show you the setup that he did. It was really cool. So, to power it, well, this is the setup that I know he did. I think he might have made it a little better. But to power, he had a no, minus the miner. Solar distiller. Fluid distributor. And I'm just going to grab a cable for power. I don't remember what I used, but I'm just going to grab this. I think he used something else, so he just went boop, boop, boop. Then with these, miner, and then fluid distributor. So if you have a fluid out on this, it will output fluid. So you have the solar distiller here, and then you had a geothermal generator here. So anytime it ran into lava, it would put it here, and I think you should actually put a bat box on this. So say, or I'm just gonna say bat box because they're pretty much the first power you're gonna run into, power storage. So yeah, just a bat box. Oop, oop, not like that. Not that direction. Just a bat box. Wait, what the? There we go. With that, so much better. So you can bottle up power, and so this thing can continuously run pretty well. And then the solar distiller to get your distilled water on just kind of passively as it does this thing. And then you would put a chest, or if you're using Applied Energy 6.2, I think you can put an interface on top. Yeah, a storage interface. Yeah, so just put your chest there, and it'll automatically pop it into the chest, or a storage interface, and as it puts it into the interface, it goes into your system, to your storage system. So yeah, it was a pretty nice setup that he had. I'm surprised my computer was actually able to do this pretty well. Actually, it might be dropping a ton of frames on your guys' end. I do not know. I have no way to automatically see. But actually kinda do. Voila! So far so good. I mean, it's using like a quarter of my CPU, maybe about a third or so, but it's doing just fine. So yeah, that's all the machine stuff that I know off the top of my own head. Oh, advanced miner. Now this is a force to be reckoned with when it comes to mining. So this is some brilliant machine. Put an OV scanner here, or an OD scanner, or any scanner. If you want to increase its range, you can. Silk touch. Switch mode here. This is filter. Power. I think. Yeah, you can put overclocker, transformer, redstone signal. So far, I put overclocker and transformer in. Nothing happened, so I don't know. I had 4096 EU going into things, so and I'll show you how I got that in a sec. So yeah, that's done. Yeah, it's a wonderful thing. Although it uses 512 EU per tick, and I believe it's a beta thing. I don't know. So yeah, that's all of that for there. What's this? Union. So, oh, I had that organized. So, you got your mass fabricator. And so you gotta put power in. So I'm gonna get two different kinds of power. I'm gonna get a low power and a high power. And, oh, here we go. Advanced solar panel versus quantum solar panel. So, advanced solar panel, it only generates 8 EU per tick. Sorry to hear that little noise. And it's gonna barely produce anything at that rate. Gotta wait for its internal buffer to die out, whatever. Boom. This thing's generating 4096. As you see, it's a ton faster. And so, pretty much, the more power you can stuff in, the faster it goes. Although, up to a point. So, this thing produces a ton of power. So, you'd have mass fabricator, you'd have, I'd say, put the replicator here, pattern storage here, scanner here. So, the scanner, I'm not entirely sure how this exactly works. You'd have to watch Rage Play do this. I skipped over that part because I'm just kind of stupid like that. So pretty much my knowledge with this is you use this to scan items to get them into a pattern. patterns are stored in here via crystals. You could have a hopper or stuff do that. Then this is you put the crystal in it for storage, and you have UU matter go in on it, and you replicate whatever. And each item takes a certain amount of UU matter. You'd use this mostly to replicate iridium, because iridium is super hard to find. So you need like multiple iridium for anything. So you take one iridium, and I'd say you do iridium ore, because it'd be a ton cheaper. You put iridium ore in to scan and replicate it. Then this, just as it generates UU matter, when it gets enough, it would replicate, and it'd make an iridium ore. And then you would use that and just process it in whatever system you have. I might get a better build of that later. I'll put all this back. I suck at it. Now, this is also really fun. So some of these things are used for when you have the liquid reactor, like as you see there. A basic reactor, one reactor chamber. You got a 3x6, pretty nice. You get a decent amount of space. You can do stuff. So, like say, I think a basic power setup would be with this would be, I don't know. Let's see. Like with just one reactor chamber, not tritium, plutonium. That's what I want. Plutonium. Oh, by the way, it's radioactive. So if you have it in your inventory, so uranium. Yeah. So see radiation. You want to have the radiation suit on. So I'm gonna put that there. That there. My voice disappeared for a sec. I don't care about the radiation right now. I'm invincible. I'm invincible. Death. So just some heat vents. And so just kind of a basic setup like this. Nope. No. Okay. And so I'm pretty sure you could fill in that extra space with like some other things and get a lot better out of it. But yeah, this would be a basic setup in my mind. You could probably do something like I'm trying to think. You know what? I don't care. But yeah, basic setup. But that's not all. Boom, 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 and boom, boom. Now we got all of these other rows, and so here I'll break that off, so you can see that one row of X's, all up to here was X's, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 have now been opened. Now I'm gonna open up this last 6th, so now you have a 9x6, a double chest size of this, and you can do a lot more power. In fact, you could, he does a lot of stuff, and he actually makes a plutonium generating one. So yeah, you can either have one that generates a lot of plutonium really quickly, or a lot of power with very little uranium. And the one that's doing plutonium would generate power, but he explains a lot of stuff in his video. So just just break the center one and it dies. Boop, boop, boop. Rid of that, rid of that, rid of that, rid of that. Yeah. Oh, and so these 4 guys, he uses them, but you got the pressure vessel, that's just the basic structure for the liquid-cooled reactor. Fluid port, that's where the fluid goes in and out. Access hatch, that's how you can access the reactor and everything in it. Redstone port, that's how you turn it on and off. So like that. And yeah, that's just for today. I will have some machines in the next part. So yeah, see you in a bit. And actually, it might be a better recording. So yeah. I will see you later, YouTube.